Om Sadashivasamārambhām Shankaracharya Madhyamām Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparām Āpyayantu mamāngāni Vāk prānaschakshushrotram Atho balamindriyāni ca sarvāni Sarvam brahmaupanishadam Māham brahma nirākuryām Māmā brahma nirākarot Anirākaranamastu Anirākaranam me astu Tadatmani nirate Ya upanishatsu dharmāha Te mayi santu Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha Kena prana prathamah praiti yuktaha Keneshitam vachamimam vadanti Chakshushrotram ka udevo yunakti Shrotrasya shrotram manaso manayate Vachoha vacham sa upranasya pranaha Chakshushash chakshurati muchyadhiraha Pretyasmal lokat amrita bhavanti Na chakshur gacchati na vag gacchati No manoma vidmaha Na vijanimo yathaidadanushishyat Anyadeva tadviditat Aviditadadhi Iti shushruma purvesham Yenastadvyacha chakshire Yadvacha anabhyuditam Yena vagabhyudhyate Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi Nedamididam upasate Yen manasana manute Yenahur manomatam Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi Nedamididam upasate Yet chakshusha pashyati Yena chakshumshi pashyati Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi Nedamididam upasate Yet shrotrena nashrunoti Yena shrotramidam shrutam Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi Nedamididam upasate Yet pranena na praniti Yena pranah praniyate Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi Nedamididam upasate. So this is the entire first kanda of Kenopanishad. Okay, in fact, you don't need anything else. This alone is good enough to understand the entire Vedanta. So the complete teaching is there here, presented in a very beautiful manner. So we already saw that this Upanishad starts with a question and impelled by whom? The mind, the senses, the organs of action, everything is functioning as it is functioning, and everything is even existing as they are existing, correct? Their very existence and all their activities are due to what? Due to the presence of which vastu? That is the question. Is there a vastu like that also is implied in that? And the answer is that yes, it is definitely there, and that vastu is not separate from you. In fact, it is you. You as the consciousness alone is the one in whose presence all these things are happening. So that was indicated as Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Manaha Vachoha Vacham Sahu Pranasya Pranaha Chakshushas Chakshuhu. All these expressions may look indirect, but then what? There is no other way of revealing this Brahman, because this Brahman is not any one object which you can descriptively reveal through words or even show it like an object. Like if a cow means, even if I don't have words, I can go to the Goshala, get a cow and show you, see, this is cow, correct? So you can perceive that. But in fact, words have limitations. For example, even let us say, how does sugar taste? If I ask, you cannot give any word, you can only say it is sweet and all that, but what does it mean really? Unless I have to taste it, and then even then I don't know whether what you tasted and what I tasted are same or not, I don't know, but I hope everybody is tasting the sweetness similarly. So even emotions like that are very difficult to, emotions and feelings and sensations, whatever we cognize, they are not very easy to reveal through words. That's why it is very difficult, correct? When things like love and all that. Many times you say I love you and all that to somebody, they don't believe you anyway. That is the problem. That is because the other person doesn't think that they are actually lovable, correct? There is a problem. That is all part of complexes, correct? Unless you think you are lovable, even if the other person expresses some emotion and feeling and all that, you are not ready to accept. Because you think that you are not good enough for that. That's a separate problem anyway. But what I am saying is, emotions like that also, it's not easy to reveal through words. Then what about this Brahman, which is not an object? The Atma is not an object. It is always the eternal subject, or even we have to say it is of the very nature of the subject, because the status of being a subject also is only transitory to yourself, correct? I am there even when I am not a subject. Is it clear? Subject-object duality need not be there, but I am always there. Space-time need not be there, but I am there. I can be there in a new space-time. Still I am there. That new space-time, dream space-time is gone, I am there. Then waking space-time has come, I am there. Waking subject-object is there, I am there. Waking subject-object is not there in deep sleep, I am there. New dream space-time has come, I am there. So this I is the invariable. And the nature of this I is in the form of consciousness. It's a conscious being. This conscious being is the invariable, it is always there, and it need not be known through any means of knowledge, because it is self-revealing and self-existent. This is the important thing first we have to understand. That I as a conscious being, I am always there, and in fact I am not an entity in space-time is the important thing first to understand. But even then there is still a doubt. Are there many conscious beings like myself or not? What about all the other sentient beings in this creation? Even in the objective world, I have two categories, correct? There are sentient beings, there are insentient things, correct? We say one is sentient being, another is insentient things are there. So how do I account for all this? Are they are all as real as me, or they have some other order of reality? For example, even in dream I see sentient beings, insentient things. In dream all of them look to be real and separate and all that. So within the dream they all have a certain reality. They are all separate vastus, you can say, correct? Separate entities. But when I wake up, what is my understanding? All of that was only one conscious being. My own mind alone, lighted up by the consciousness, is appearing as the entire dream world. So it is only the waker alone appears as the dream world. We have to say, or the mind. My mind alone projected the entire dream world. It is nothing but me. So that understanding comes. So from this, what do we understand? A conscious entity can appear as both sentient and insentient entities. There is no contradiction or anything in that. If I say that you as a conscious entity pervaded the entire dream world, we can accept that. You cannot question how can conscious entity become an insentient thing. Correct? There is no problem. In fact, the Upanishad uses one analogy to even talk about this. In Mundaka Upanishad, different analogies are given to understand how this creation came from Brahman. One analogy is yatornanabhis srijate grinhate cha. Like even the spider brings whatever, it is having a yarn, correct? The spider yarn is supposed to be very flexible but very strong. People are even now, I think, doing research on the spider yarn itself to understand its qualities and all that, whether it can, something like that can be synthetically created and all that. But anyway, the idea of spider is that spider is both the nimitta and upadana karana, correct? It doesn't have to borrow material from anywhere. And the other thing is it can even roll that yarn back and take it back into itself. So that is given as an analogy to understand that there can be one cause which is both material and intelligent cause, which can bring about something and again take it back also, correct? That means Srishti Sthiti Laya, everything is happening and the resolution also happens back into the same entity. These things are illustrated by that particular analogy. Then the another doubt can still be there, how can Jada come from Chetana? If you say there is a Jagat Karanam, that Jagat Karanam also is Chaitanya Jagat Karanam, correct? Because it is Jnanam. It is Prajnanam Brahma, or Vijnanam Anandam Brahma, or Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Like this, different Lakshanas are given everywhere. This Jnanam is there. In Chandogya also, Tad Aikshata it is said, correct? It visualized. And in Taittiriya it is said, So Kamayata, it desired. So like that, all desire, visualization, seeing and all that is possible only in a conscious entity. If that is the case, then how can something which is inert come from a conscious being? Means the Upanishad says, like even the nails have come from on your fingers, correct? If you take your body as a conscious entity, but nails are there, nails are not conscious, we can even cut the nails, okay? And it may keep growing again, but still, like even the nails have come out. Like this, it gives another analogy. Like this, what I am saying is, different analogies are given to account for all this seeming contradiction. In fact, there is no contradiction in any of these things, but still you need to assimilate. You can get doubts. So the Upanishad is actually, it itself is visualizing all the doubts which you may have, correct? In fact, the tradition is based on all question answers. The teaching tradition itself is based on question answers. And many times what we see is the teacher and all the Purva Acharyas have thought about so many things, correct? Many of that we may never even think about. Even Shankara himself, when he writes the Bhashya, he raises questions and answers, keeps on answering. Many times we will even think, why even like certain questions may never come to us because we don't even have the background for that, I think. But he is asking some questions, and then it is surprising that okay, there can be a question like this itself is a surprise for us. Then the answer also is given for that. Okay. So the Shastra and the Sampradaya is already having all this, whatever you may get doubts, etc. They have raised all that and they have also given answers. So even here, when Shrotrasya Shrotra Mandal is said, then the obvious question is, why are you even revealing it like this only? Why can't you show it to me? Show this, whatever I ask the question, that entity like you show a cow or a horse and all that. Means that also the Acharya immediately answered correct, because na tatra chakshur gacchati na vak gacchati, it cannot be revealed by words, correct, or it cannot be objectified by your sense organs, it cannot be objectified by your organs of action, it cannot be objectified by your mind, no mano na vidmaha. So how do you then reveal? I don't know how else to reveal this. Na vijani mo ethaitada. It can only be words alone I have to still use, correct? But I cannot use it in the normal way. I have to use words intelligently so that I can still reveal through words what is not a direct meaning of a word. Is that clear? In fact, we have to understand it is the meaning of all words, and it is not the direct meaning of any one word. Because all words also reveal the satta aspect of something, correct? If you reveal an object through a word, then it exists through the word again. The existence of it is conveyed by all the word. Existence of some vastu is conveyed by the word. That way all words are revealing only Brahman, because that Sat itself is only Brahman. But the name and form part of the word revelation, but we take the direct meaning of the word as everything, correct? That a particular name and form exists, we think. We take it the other way around. But you have to take it as existence is in the form of this name. Is the truth. It's not the other way around. Name and form exists is how we understand that. But all words are revealing the name and form exists means, but the exist part is Brahman. Name and form is what we think the word is actually revealing, but then that is the direct meaning of the word means then Brahman is not the meaning of that word. Is that clear? So that's how we have to understand. So one way it will look like some contradiction and all that, correct? I say Brahman is revealed by all the words, but it is not the direct meaning of any one word. Like that I can give you a mystic kind of a statement, but there is nothing mystic about this. Why I am saying is even now I think few years back this Zen and all was very popular, correct? So they keep on giving some contradiction and all that. But arbitrarily contradictory statements will not reveal anything, I think. Some arbitrary contradiction you give, I don't know, then you just leave it, correct? You don't really, I don't know what you really get from that. But there is all this, Zen became very popular. There was some book also, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Riding or something, I think. That and all was very popular. Even it may be popular even today, I don't know whether it is popular now. But just contradiction for the sake of contradiction is not going to reveal anything. But our Shastra also, you can say, tries to reveal this vastu. Sometimes seemingly contradictory words have to be used, correct? To make you transcend that very concept. For example, even Kenopanishad is saying, what is saying? Anoraniyan. So this truth is smaller than the smallest, correct? It is the atom of the atom, you can say. Anoraniyan. Anuhu means atom, let us say. But it is smaller than the atom also. Because in our tradition, the Anu or Paramanu is supposed to be the smallest thing according to the Vaisheshikas. They are the first atomic theorist, understand that. Even in our school book and all, we have read Dalton's atomic theory and all that. Dalton and all came very, very late. This is definitely BC. Already we are talking about Paramanu, Dvenuk, Trenuk and all that. Okay. So the Anu theory is all Vaisheshika's theory. There is no doubt about that. They are the ones who said that there are, for each Mahabhuta, there are Anus are there, Paramanus are there. They come together and only some kind of a particle theory was already there. Okay. So, but what does the Upanishad say? Anoraniyan. It is smaller than the smallest particle. Okay. Then what? Mahato Mahiyan. It is larger than the largest thing you can think of, space, let us say, because it encompasses the entire space also. How can these two things be true? Means it is true. In fact, we can even explain that. How? Because even the smallest thing means what? You remove everything and you say there is a physical vacuum, let us say, but even that is cognized by whom? Correct? Even if you remove everything, Chaitanya has to be there, correct? Chaitanya can never be removed from any cognition. Even the cognition of the smallest of the small things is that consciousness will be there, correct? You cannot get that consciousness out of there. That's why you see the beauty in our tradition. Even if you remove everything, it is not shunya for us. The shunya is called puja. Correct? Why we are saying puja? Puja word is there in all the Indian languages. Even Tamil also pujyam means zero, we think. Zero means what? Basically nothing is there, we say. But when zero means all names and forms are gone. Then what is there? Means Brahman alone is there, correct? Even if all names and forms are gone, that is not shunya for us really. It is actually puja because it is worshipful. Puja means that which is worthy of worship. Why? Because that is the most auspicious Brahman. Even if all the names and forms are gone, what is there is Brahman alone is there. That is Anoraniya. Then what about all the names and forms? Then also it is the same Brahman. Because everything is there only in Brahman. It is Mahato Mahiya. Same thing again. Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. So some Englishman initially translated this. In fact, I think it is true. Puja Swamiji used to say this. So some Englishman, I think in the 18th century or something, he went to a Pandit. Then they started the class Purnamadav, because we started some Shanti mantra. Then he asked, what is the meaning? Okay, then the English meaning is what? That is full or whole, correct? Purnaha means complete, full, whole. That is whole, Purnamadaha. This is whole, or this is also full. Okay, that is full, this is full. Then what? Purnamadav, Purnamidam, Purnat. From that whole came this whole. Correct? Purnat, Purnamudachyate. Then what? Purnasya, Purnamadaya. If you take that whole from this whole, whatever is left also is whole. Purnameva avashishyate. Then he said, this is the prattling of an infantile mind. Like that fellow wrote, it seems. What is that? But that is the truth, correct? Because Sadeva Somya Ekameva Advitiyam. Sadeva Somya Idamagre Asit Ekameva Advitiyam. That is Purnamadaha. So even it was complete. Ekameva Advitiyam Vastu. Even when there was no manifest creation also, same Purna Vastu was there before creation. Even when the creation is manifest, same Vastu is there. It has not changed its nature or anything, correct? Like gold was there before there was any jewelry. Gold alone is there even when there are many jewelries. And when all the jewelry is gone also. The jewelry also is gold real, correct? That's why jewelry also is gold or it is whole. Gold also was, gold originally was as it is gold, correct? Purnaha. All the jewelries have come, they are also only gold, so they are also Purnaha. Now you remove all the jewelry, then also the same gold is there, that is also Purna Vastu only. So all that is there here is that one Vastu alone is there. That is the vision which is given by the Shanti Mantra itself. Straight away, you start the class with that. Okay? The entire Vedantic vision is there in that. Beautiful understanding of the limitless also. Correct? But then, if you translate it just like that and without any teaching and all that, it will look like somebody has gone crazy. Correct? But it's not a contradiction. That's what I am saying. Seemingly contradictory words can be used deliberately by the Shastra to make you understand certain things, correct? Because we have to transcend some common misconceptions which we have about the reality. The reality doesn't, you cannot box it into any of your concepts, understand that. It really transcends any type of conceptualization you may have. It is as it is, really speaking, it is you in fact. At the end of the day, once you have understood yourself as you are, you don't require any word also. That is why we say maunam and all that, correct? That silence also you have to understand correctly. For that also you require the words of a teacher first, understand that. Without that you won't understand silence too. Otherwise, silence can be interpreted by anybody as anything. It is meaningless. Silence is not really a methodology of teaching or anything. Understand that. But silence can still be said as the reality. That's what one has to understand. So that is what is being revealed here. In very, very different ways. Correct? Anya deva tad vidita datho avidita dadhi. It is different from whatever is known. Then is it unknown or what? No, it is different from all that is unknown also. Again, unknown can be known unknown, unknown unknown, whatever is unknown, all unknowns, also it is different from that. I mean, is there anything like that? Means it is you, correct? This, after negating all knowns and all unknowns, whatever is left is the knower. And this is the Swarupa of that knower itself. And this is how our teachers have taught this to us. And that is the same way I have to teach you. I have also understood this clearly because there is clarity in this teaching. It's not that the teaching is not clear. It may take some time to assimilate it. That's a different thing. But the Sampradaya is very clear. What is being taught is clear. And once that clarity is there, your understanding also is clear. Even after clear understanding, the assimilation may take some time because understand, any insight immediately will not transform you, or even it may not even become your knowledge. Understand that, because knowledge, even if you have clear knowledge, it may not be always available, correct? For example, I have very clear knowledge where I want to go. Okay, I want to go to Sunday, I want to go for shopping, let us say. Means that route is different. But every day where I am going to office. That is a different route. So Sunday I start, I want to go to the shopping mall. But then if I am not alert about that, what happens? Because driving and all is subconscious or unconscious, correct? Driving is most of the time subconscious. Once you learn driving, initially when you are learning driving, it looks very difficult, correct? Because you have to use both the hands, both the legs, and you have to synchronize. At least in India, we have clutch and all that, correct? Even here now, you have automatic vehicles which are somewhat easier. But with clutch and all that, you have to coordinate so many things at the same time. You are very conscious. Even with japa also, sometimes it is like this. See, some mantras are very big. Big mantras are there, particularly if you are doing Sri Vidya Upasana and some other Upasana, mantra sadhana. The mantras can be quite big. Bigger the mantra, you have to focus on that, correct? Because you may get lost. You may not even complete the mantra once. In between only your mind can get lost. So initially when you are doing mantra japa, you are so focused on getting it right, correct? In fact, you will do this japa better. But once you have memorized that, correct? Then what happens? It can slip into subconscious zone. Means your conscious mind will start wandering again, correct? The same thing in all this driving also, you can see that. We know how to drive. Initially while learning you are all focused on that. That after you have learned it is all like, it is muscle memory only, correct? Your mind is freed. Then you can watch, you can even talk on phone, or you are thinking about something, you are listening to music. You are not really even focusing, correct? And also where you are going also many times is all subconscious. So if you are not alert, you wanted to go somewhere to the mall, but you will turn, your car will turn towards your office. That is because, it's not because of lack of knowledge. Understand that. There was no lack of knowledge, or you cannot say that I was not clear, I was confused where I was going and all that. No, there was no confusion. But habitual tendencies are there. Unless you are alert, unless that knowledge is made available all the time, or you are alert to that knowledge, you will fall back on only your habitual tendency. This happens to all of us. It's not something you cannot relate to, correct? This experience, whether it is, maybe some of you don't know driving, but you may experience this in other things, correct? If you are not alert to something and you want to do something new, but then you may still go back and do something which you have been doing all the time, correct? Habitually. So that means even this knowledge in the class, it is all clear. But it has to be repeated. Any insight has to be repeated. Then only it will become, it has to become your nature, correct? Not even second nature. I won't say second nature. It is your first nature, in fact. This is the thing. It has to be your very nature. Means this insight has to be repeated. Don't ask me how many times or how long and all. There is no fixed thing. In fact, this question also is asked. It's not something new. Understand that. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad itself, to Shankara the Purva-Pakshi is asking, because the Aham Brahmasmi Bhashya is there. So the Aham Brahmasmi iti vritti, which one will give you knowledge, the Purva-Pakshi is asking. Okay. Then Bhashyakara says, whichever vritti gives you knowledge, that is the one. That is it, correct? There is no, it's not like you cannot say it is the first one, because he is asking whether the first one will give, or if you say the first one cannot give, then anything cannot give also it will become, correct? Any amount of repetition. So then Shankara simply says, whichever one gives you, at that time the Ajnana is gone. So there is no first or last or anything. Whichever one has given you is the last one, correct? So like that, you have to do this. This is our Jivanam only, correct? Once you have understood this teaching, the teaching also has to be recollected for a period of time, till the time it is clear and it is always available to you, correct? Knowledge has to be always available. Why I am saying is, even this thing comes out even in the case of Arjuna. See, Arjuna says in the Gita, correct? Once the teaching happens, it is clear. Nobody can deny that the teaching is not clear, correct? If you have sat in the class of a jnani who has the vision, then none of the students can claim that I do not know what the teaching is and that it is not clear. The clarity will be there. But even then the problem is that it doesn't stick, correct? That stickiness has to come. But it will also come over a period of time only. And it can go away if you are not alert, correct? So Arjuna says, Nashto moha smritir labdha, correct? At the end of the Gita, he says, my delusion is gone, my moha is gone, and I have gained this knowledge. Okay? And then he engages in the battle and all that, correct? Then later on in the Mahabharata itself, there is one Anugita is there. Okay? In the Anugita he says, whatever you told me, I have it's no more there. He goes to Krishna and says, you teach me again. Krishna is not ready to teach again. That is the funny thing. So Anugita is there. Now that also is there only to point out to us that you cannot be, once you gain the knowledge also, you cannot just leave it just like that, correct? Then it will go away. Insight has to be repeated. That's why daily only you should do some Shravanam. In fact, Shravanam alone is the only sadhana, correct? The Vedanta sadhana means what? The main sadhana is you have to be with the Shastra, with the vision of the Shastra. And what is the vision of the Shastra about you? That has to be there with you. In that light of the vision of the Shastra, you have to see yourself. That is the whole thing, correct? That is the journey of a mumukshu, of a Vedantin. So that's why the repetition also is not a problem in the teaching, correct? In fact, the teaching itself is very simple. It is only one equation. Even if you study Vedanta for 30 years, the teacher is going to repeat the same thing. You cannot come and complain, Swamiji, you said the same thing even 3 years back. In fact, the Guru has a problem sometimes. Paramartha ji himself has told me, in fact, he said that 30 years I am teaching in Chennai. I am still getting the same questions. In fact, I am not able to mimic him properly, but he says in a particular manner, right? You can imagine that. So, the students also have the same questions. Guru also has to give the same answer only. The answer is not going to be any different. But it's okay. Even having the same question is not a dosha or anything. But it has to, basically, some dridata has to be there in the knowledge and clarity and firmness. It will come. It has to come over a period of time only. So, even in this case, so what is the teaching? So this is how our gurus taught, and then the Mahavakya is coming. Yad vacha anabhyuditam yena vagabhyudhyate. So that which is not an object of any word or even the organ of speech, but by which the organ of speech itself is the organ of the speech, because of which it is able to function. Its very capability is because of that. Because that will come later in a story also. There is a story in Kenopanishad. The Agni will try to burn a grass, Agni will not be able to burn. Vayu will try to blow away the grass, he will not be able to do that. Like that, Devatas also, even their very capability, whatever they are able to do, etc., is only because of this Brahman. Brahman will come as a Yaksha. So there is a story, we will see that. It's an interesting story. And finally Indra comes and knows how. Even there he takes the help of Uma. That's where Devi, correct? Without the help of Devi, this Brahman also, you cannot know. You have to take the help. Like that, it's an interesting story, we'll see that. So, even the very capability, whatever kshama is there, correct? The ability to do something is only because of the presence of Brahman. It is from Brahman alone. And that Brahman is not separate from you. Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi. That is the Mahavakya. So this Brahman, because the problem is, everybody can with some viveka know that I am a conscious being. That much you can arrive at, correct? But the pramana has to only come and say that that conscious being alone is the reality, and that is the limitless conscious being on which everything is appearing. This entire world itself is appearing only on this one non-dual conscious entity, which is the limitless. That only the Shastra alone has to reveal to you. That is the Mahavakya. So Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi has to be only revealed by the Shastra. That cannot be arrived at by you. You cannot arrive at it yourself. So that part the Shastra is coming and revealing here. And it's not revealing only once, correct? Even if you take Tattvamasi, it is repeated again and again 9 times in the Chandogya 6th chapter. So first time he says Atma Tattvamasi. Then what does Shvetaketu say? I want to listen more. Okay. So he didn't even ask any question. He simply says, I want to know more about this. Then his father, who is the teacher there, Uddalaka, he himself then approaches the subject matter from another angle and all that, correct? Or he imagines what kind of a doubt you can have or Shvetaketu may have. And then he answers it from that standpoint. Again, Tattvamasi, Atma Tattvamasi. Again he says, I want to know more. I want to know more. The teacher is happy, but so he keeps on repeating the same teaching from different standpoints. Then finally, after 9th time, he said, I have understood. So like this, till you understand, it has to be taught. There is no other way. All your doubts have to be cleared. Certain vagueness also has to go away. And the teacher also has to be patient, but teacher doesn't have anything else to do, correct? All teachers, all gurus are happy to teach as long as there are students, qualified students are there. There is no problem with that. There is no better thing to do also anyway, correct? So, the teaching is also repetitive. So even here, what first? Yad vachana abhyuditam yena vaga abhyudhyate tadeva brahmatvam vidhi. That Brahman is you. That Brahman, which is what? Ekameva advitiyam sajatiya vijatiya swagata vedarahitaha satyam jnanam anantam brahma. Anantam also, the anantam is the main thing we have to understand, as I told you. Because Atma being a Chetana Vastu, it's very clear to all of us. But the Anantatvam is where the problem is. Because in fact that is also our fundamental problem, because we think we are Alpaha, we are a limited being and all that, correct? But that limited vision itself is only based on the body-mind-sense complex. All limitations are really the limitations of the body-mind-sense complex. But even then what, okay, I am not this body-mind-sense complex because it is something I know. And whatever I know is not I, so I am only the consciousness to which all these things become evident. But still, what about this consciousness itself? Is it only limited to this body? Or is there some other reality to this consciousness? Means, Shastra says, yes, it is Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinnaha, correct? It is not, you think that you are in space-time, but space itself is there in this Atma. Tasmade Tasmadatmana Akasha Sambhutaha Akashad Vayuhu Vayor Agnihi Agner Apaha Adhyaf Prithvi. Like this entire space, whatever is there in the space, all the gases, all the sources of energy, all liquids, all solids, everything has come from this Atma alone. So it is not limited by space. So your notion has to go away. There is no spatial limitation or anything for this conscious being which is you. Then what about time? Am I going to die? Hey, whatever is dying is only this body. This was never born. Time also is born along with space, correct? So Kala Paricheda is not there. Even though we say it was always there, it is there, it will be there. Basically what we have to understand is it transcends the concept of time itself. See, both space and time are all Maya, correct? We can even understand it very simply. You take geometry, correct? In geometry, how do you define a point? In fact, the funny thing is, if you have read, I don't know whether all of you remember your high school geometry or anything, but what is the definition of a point? Point means, they say it is something which doesn't occupy any space, in fact, correct? The definition of a point is, it is some point in the space, but it really doesn't occupy any space. You can go back and refer to some geometry book. But then, what is a line means? Line is made up of points, correct? But then what? Each point does not occupy any space. Then how did the line come there? That itself is Maya, correct? Like that, time also you take what is now means, you cannot define it as in any unit of time, correct? You can keep on dividing the time, nanosecond, picosecond and all that nowadays they talk about. But then, time also is like that. Now itself cannot be defined as any unit of time. But any length of time is nothing but different nows, correct? It is a series of now we say. But now itself is not definable as any particular period of time or anything. That is also again Maya. Maya means it is all Space also is superimposed on only consciousness, understand that. Because when you talk about a point, the point is nothing but your space consciousness alone. Similarly, time now also is nothing but time consciousness alone is now. So it will all end up only in that consciousness alone. Point also is consciousness. Now also is consciousness. A series of now only is a period of time. A series of point alone is a line. But both line and any period of time and all that are all nothing but it's all Maya. Understand that. Even whatever the world we see, correct? All scientists understand Mithyatvam very well, or Maya. Why? Because you take even electron, they say, is there without any mass. How can there be any entity without mass? But it is there, it is science, correct? Electrons don't have any mass, photons don't have any mass. So many of these fundamental particles do not have any mass. Does that mean that they do not have any substance? I don't know, but that is how it has been. The theory is correct. The current theory in physics is that there are many fundamental particles which do not have any mass. But proton, neutron alone has mass, they say, correct. But that whatever mass is there in the nucleus of an atom is so, it is all concentrated in such a small place. The atom, the electrons are somewhere, correct? The electron cloud they call it. With reference to the nucleus is only 1% of the atom really. Our nucleus and electron cloud and all is only 1%. 99% is space at the atomic level. That all scientists know that. If all that is space, then what is all this? You are talking about some solid, liquid, gas, etc. And again, if you have only 3 fundamental particles or something only are there, okay, 3 quarks or whatever they say, or even if you take proton, electron, neutron as 3 fundamental particles, how did these 3 become all this variegated world? And there is countless objects are there here. We have so much of perception, correct? Sense perception itself is so vast. Even the range of colors, if you take, so many are there, so many forms are there, so many different types of objects are there. How did all these things come? Means it's only Maya, correct? Because you can reduce it to only a few fundamental particles. Means it's only those few fundamental particles are appearing as this macro world. It's only an appearance, understand that? So Maya is not very difficult to understand. Anybody can understand that. But then where does the Shastra come? Again, Shastra says that there cannot be any Maya without the Brahman being there. Brahman is the Adhisthana. That Brahma Vastu, that Adhisthana again is not separate from you. Whatever you say as I, that I alone is the reality, that I alone is there here. There cannot be anything else other than that. Everything else automatically becomes Mithya. It's all only Maya. I am the only reality always. I am there as I am without undergoing any modification because I am Satyam. Because Satyam itself is defined how we have to understand. The word Satyam, Mithya, all these things are called ontological terms. Okay? Because they are not any one Vastu or anything. They are actually revealing the reality of a particular Vastu. What is the status of reality of a particular Vastu? That's why Sad Vastu is revealed as that which is existing. But that Sad itself is said to be Satyam. Sadeva Satyam. Like that Chandogya also says. Whatever was revealed as Sadeva Saumya Ekameva Advitiyam, and that which is the Jagat Karanam, because from that alone this entire Srishti has come, that's Sadeva Satyam. There the Satyam is an ontological term. Even Satyam Jnanam Anantam also, there only Bhashyakara defines what is Satyam. Whenever we say Sat, that Sad alone is Satyam. But Satyam means what? How do we understand Satyam or whatever is ultimately real? Means he gives a definition. What is that definition? Yad Rupena Yan Nishchitam Bhavati Tad Rupam Nav Vyabhicharati Iti Satyam. So once you have understood a Vastu as it is, correct, in a certain way, it never changes from that. It can never change, it can never give up its nature. It is always the same. But if it changes, tad vibicharati chet, It is called Amritam. So he defines both Satyam and Amritam in the Satyam Jnanam Anantam Bhashya of Taittiriya Upanishad. No, that is our understanding of Satyam, correct? Satyam means it can never change. It is always as it is. From that definition itself, Amritam comes because anything which changes has become Amritam, correct? So why this is very important? Because there are different confusions going on nowadays, correct? With reference to this also, there are some people who think they are very intellectual. They say that there is nothing, there is no truth or anything in this world, correct? You cannot reach any truth. Nothing is truth. And some of them are influenced by Buddhism also. So there is no ultimate truth, nobody can define any truth, or even if it is there, it cannot be taught. All these ideas are going. There are even statements like truth is a pathless land, you can never reach the truth. Then why are you even talking about it? I don't know. If truth is a pathless land, you don't have to even talk about it. But there are statements like this. Means they are all trying to make it somehow mystic. There is nothing mystic about Vedanta, understand that. Vedanta, the teaching is very clear. It has been communicated in a sampradaya, Guru Sishya sampradaya, and it can be communicated further, correct? That's how it is. That is the Jnana Ganga. The flow of knowledge is there always. So the truth is there. And it can be understood and it can be communicated. In fact, there is even a story. See, our Pujya Swamiji, he was in US in the 80s, I'm saying. He didn't have any organization or anything. He was with Chinmaya Mission up to 1982. Then he was on his own. Correct? And he used to go to different universities and give public talks about Vedanta and all that in US. Then in one university talk, I think. So one professor or somebody from that university came to Swamiji and said that there is no truth or anything because you can never define what is truth. Then Swamiji said, no, I can easily define what is truth. Shankara himself has defined that, correct? So Swamiji said, that which can never be negated is truth. Now you go and negate this definition. Come on. So that professor went away. He could not break this definition. Okay, that which can never be negated alone is truth. Once you have revealed it, it can never be negated. But because if it is false, it can be negated. Like a snake on the rope. Truth means it never changes. Once you have known it as it is always the same, means it can never be negated. So that is the definition. It's a simple definition, correct? That which can never be negated is truth. Then this professor, he thought about it for a long time. Then came next day, he could not sleep, I think, that entire night. And he came, before the next talk, only he came to Swamiji. He said, okay, I accept that your definition is proper. It cannot be negated or anything. Okay, but then there is nothing like that. Your definition is okay, but there is no vastu like truth. He said that. If it is there, then you tell me, you prove that there is a vastu which can never be negated. Then Swami said, no, I will tell you. My talk is there anyway, I will deal with it. He said, no, I cannot wait till then. You know, immediately, you tell me. So Swamiji said, the negator can never be negated. The truth is nothing but the swarupa of the negator, correct? Whichever conscious entity is negating everything, that conscious entity can never be negated. The very nature of the negator alone is the truth. How can you negate? Even to negate, there has to be somebody. That somebody is always there. That conscious entity is the invariable in every activity, in every cognition, in everything. So how can you negate that? Means then he got that, correct? He had to accept, that is Vedanta, correct? Vedanta is a very, very clear subject matter. In fact, it is the only thing which can be taught completely. I am telling you again, no other objective knowledge in the world can be completely revealed to you. Only Vedanta alone, only the truth about yourself alone can be revealed, because you are already a self-revealing and self-existing entity. I don't even have to reveal you. In fact, all I am doing is removing all your wrong notions about yourself. You are already what you are. You are a self-revealing, self-existent entity, means you know yourself in fact. And that entity is never changing, it is the invariable. All you have to do is recognize that fact. It is a fact. And it can be recognized, it can be taught, and it can be communicated also. There is no doubt in all these things. That's why we have a Guru Shishya Parampara. Otherwise this Guru Shishya Parampara and all is bogus. Understand that? So that is the important thing. So that's what is taught here. That Brahman is you. That Brahman which does not have any Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata, Beda, that which does not have any limitation with reference to space, time or object also. Correct? Brahman is not separate from any object, because it is a very Sat in each and every object. All objects are only Brahman. That we can even understand now from modern science, because every object is finally reduced to some quantum system which is all only some 2-3 fundamental particles, but even they have to be collapsed by an observer, they say. Means that observer means conscious entity has come again, correct? Even though the scientists may not accept that, but who else can be an observer? Other than a conscious entity, there cannot be any observer. So all objects are also not separate from Brahman. It is all Brahman alone. In fact, they all vanish into Brahman, correct? Parattil maraindadu Parmudal Bhutam. That all our saints, not just Sanskrit rishis, even our Tamil Siddhars and all, they understood that, correct? And they have expressed it so beautifully. Parattai maraitadu Parmudal Bhutam, Parattil maraindadu Parmudal Bhutam. So all the Pancha Bhutas, if you look at it, all of them as separately, means it has covered the truth, the ultimate truth. But then if you see the truth, everything vanishes into that. That is the beauty. It's only a change of vision. In fact, Bhagavan says the same thing. Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasyam Jagarti Sanyami. Correct? The Jnani sees something different. Whatever is night for the Ajnani is like daylight for the Jnani. And whatever is daylight for the Ajnani, the Jnani does not see it. The Ajnanis are seeing pluralistic world, multiple objects and all that. Jnani is only seeing the truth behind all that. There is only one truth, which is myself, which is not separate from me. That is the vision. And it is Ascharya also, correct? This is the greatest Ascharya. In fact, it is very... How did I miss it all this time? Also it is an Ascharya, correct? Ascharyavat pashyati kaschideenam, Ascharyavat vadati tathaiva. So even the vision also is Ascharya. The teaching itself is Ascharya. Somebody is able to teach this. Ascharyavat kaschid anya shrinoti. And the one who hears the teaching also is feeling. But the other Ascharya is, even after hearing this, some people don't understand. Shrutva pyenam veda nachaiva kaschit. That is why it is the greatest secret, because if you are not ready for it, even if I teach you in public, 99 people will not understand. That is why it is Raja Vidya, Raja Muhyam, it is said, correct? It is greatest secret, because even if I teach you, it can remain a secret. If you are not ready for it, it will remain a secret only. So that is this teaching. So the same thing is repeated here beautifully, correct? Yad vachana vyuditam yena vaga vyudyate tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam idam upasate. Then what? Yen manasana manute. Because the teaching has to be complete. It is not only with reference to word. Then what? That which is not known by your mind. Yes, yen manasana manute. But yenahur mano matam, by which the mind itself is lighted. Correct? The mind itself is sentient and shining and all that only because of this consciousness manifesting in the mind. Mind is not conscious by itself. Understand that. Whatever is happening in the mind also is becoming evident to somebody. That consciousness is I, and therefore Yena Hurmano Matam Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidya, and that consciousness is not separate from Brahman, which is Ananta. Nedam ididam upasate, and it can never be an object of upasana. The upasana also we are not condemning here, like I said already. The only thing for you to understand is the upasana has to culminate in the knowledge that the upasaka and upasya are not separate. Then only the upasana has had any meaning. If you still hold on to the idea that no, I am separate from my upasya devata, means you are nasa veda, avidya sutram is there, then you are only devanam pashuhu. Correct? Aham anyaha, asau anyaha, nasa veda, like that. The Brihadaranyaka says in so many words. So even after seeing all these things, how other acharyas are interpreting that and all, I don't know really. It is all very, very, it is like daylight, it is so clear what the teaching of the Upanishad is. What is condemned, what is praised, everything is clear. But if you already have an agenda and all that, nobody can help you. Particularly if you are an intelligent person who has in your command all the grammar, all different types of logic and all that. Because Madhvacharya says Atma Tattvamasi is there, correct? Then he says it is Atma Atattvamasi really, because you can interpret it like that also. Or Ramanuja is saying Tattvamasi means he says Tattvam is Samasapada. He is using a grammar again, correct? He says Tasya Tvamasi. It is not Tat Tvamasi. It is Tattvam if you take it as one word. Then what? Then it is Shashti Tat Purusha. It is Tasya Tvamasi. You are of that. He has made it. Madhvacharya says you are not that. I don't know why anybody has to even teach that, because if you go to the road and ask somebody, are you Narayana? He is saying, no, I am not Narayana. I am this Alpa Jiva. Already he knows that. Why should the Veda come and reveal? It's not really a Pramana Vakya only then, correct? Nobody needs to come and say, you are not that. Already is there only. So, all these things somebody can interpret and all that if you have an agenda, but the teaching is very clear. Nedam ididam upasate. Similarly what? Yet chakshusha na pashyati, yena chakshumshi pashyati. That which is not seen by the eyes, which cannot be seen by the eyes, or which need not be seen by the eyes also. We have to add all that. But by which the eyes themselves are functioning as eyes, that Brahman is you, and not something, it's not an object of any upasana. Yet shrotrena na shrinoti, yena shrotramidam shrutam. That which cannot be heard. Because many people, in fact one person asked me, can you hear the silence in your meditation and all that? I said, if I hear something, then it is not Brahman at least. Yet shrotrena na shrinoti, yena shrotramidam. I am the hearer. Even if, for example, you can hear silence, I don't care. I am the hearer of the silence. Correct? I am that consciousness to whom even silence becomes. But if you start hearing silence, I think you have some problem really, but that's a different thing. But some people think that hearing silence in some meditation is something great. I don't know what they achieve by that, or whether really it is even possible. But they think that seeing some light and all that. Yet chakshusha na pashyati. Even if you see some light and have some experience and all that, you are always the experiencer, correct? See, this knowledge is not about any experience and all that. Understand that. Even when I say you are the space-time and all that, understand it like this. You are not going to experientially then expand all over the space and all that. That's not what is meant by this teaching. This is a mistake people do. Because they still want to objectify and know. But it is like, let us say, you are the dream space-time. I tell you now, correct? You are the dream space-time. All of you understand that because you have all dreamt. You have all seen the dream world. Dream world had its own space-time. Now if I tell you, you are the dream space-time, you understand that. But that does it mean that you are now going and spreading everywhere in your dream space-time or anything? It's not an experiential knowledge. Understand that. but you clearly understand that you are the dream space-time. Dream space-time is not separate from you. It is the same here also. Understand that it's a pure knowledge that I am this waking space-time also. It's not separate from me. It is me. It's me alone. It cannot be separate from my consciousness, which is the invariable. In fact, it is the invariable in each and every cognition that Kenopanishad itself will say later. That is the Pratibodha Viditam Matam, like that. We will see that. But anyway, so here, Shrotrena na shrinoti yena shrotramidam shrutam tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam ididam upasate yat pranena na praniti yena pranah praniyate. Same thing. Again it is repeated. Prana is not animating this Brahman or anything, but prana itself is animated by the presence of which consciousness that prana or that Brahman is. In fact, the word prana is in some context used for Brahman also. That comes even in the Brahma Sutra. In which context the word prana is used for Brahman, in which context it is used for the Mukhya prana, in some cases it is used for all the Indriyas, like that. But anyway, so this Brahman is the one and it is you. So with this kanda is over. The first kanda, the teaching is very clear, correct? The Mahavakya is there, it has been taught. Then we will see how the Upanishad goes further in the second kanda. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Rudhyo Namaha. Hari Om.